This is Meltdown Live, presented by MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag for double your initial deposit. You sign on to make a deposit, they double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
Welcome into the Meltdown. Thrilled to have you here on this Super Monday as we are thrilled to be broadcasting from the Culver studio here along with you, our loyal Meltdonians with us daily, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. Maybe you're watching on demand. We appreciate you very much. Make sure you download our podcast as well. You can listen to us on the go here with the Meltdown, and we are thrilled to be back with you for another week of live content. Joining me in studio, as always, the one, the only, Mr. Tyler Lionel Johns. Tyler, how was the weekend, my friend?
It was good. It was a movie-filled weekend. I don't know about yours.
Mine was also a movie-filled weekend,
Oh.
but a different type of movie.
Oh, yeah, you told me about
Did
that.
not go to the theater. We watched at home a lot of Lifetime and Hallmark and those type of movies, Christmas movies. And you know what? It was an enjoyable weekend indoors because that's sort of what you need every now and then. You need sort of a sit on the couch and watch these mindless girl from the big city goes back home and runs into her high school flame and they rekindle even though there's another guy in the mix and all this stuff. And I'm going to admit that that's how I spent my weekend. So Tyler, you actually you went to watch some newer fare at
I
the
did.
theater. What was the best thing you saw this weekend?
Gosh, probably Interstellar 5555, the 20-year-old Daft Punk anime movie. Friday, I went to go see Lord of the Rings: War of the Rohirrim.
Mhm.
It's an anime-style prequel of Lord of the Rings, and it was solid. It was solid. A lot better than I was expecting. I do have some gripes about it, but all in all, that was a good experience.
So EG is here with us. Thrilled to have EG, and you may be going like, well, what's the segue here to me? I
Yeah.
get a random photo from Tyler this weekend of him holding some sort of
Oh, dang it, I forgot it in the car.
hammer
Dang it.
axe thing. I don't know. What is it exactly,
So
Tyler?
it is the popcorn bucket for Lord of the Rings: War of the Rohirrim. It is a over 2-foot long war hammer, and
Okay.
the head of the hammer opens up into a popcorn holder. And it would work a lot better if I had it here with me to show you
No,
guys.
it's okay, Tyler.
But
This builds up the excitement for tomorrow's show because you can
I'll
just
have to officially unveil the war
yeah,
hammer
that'll
tomorrow.
be fun. But EG, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you the picture of this thing because out of
Okay.
context,
Yeah, I'm not visualizing.
it leaves you with some questions.
It does.
But I'm going to send that to you, and
Okay.
I don't know when we'll see it in studio here, but I feel like it will be very soon.
I'll
How
put
was?
up I'll put up a picture of it
Please do.
on screen.
How was your weekend, EG?
It was good. It was a cozy weekend similar to yours. I had my brother and sister-in-law's Christmas party, and this year it was everyone that was pregnant last year now has kids, and everyone that only had one kid last year now has two. So lots of children. I obviously am not with child or have a child.
Right.
So, it was fun though. I hung out with my niece, little Sadie baby, and I picture oh, here's the photo coming through.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was just out of
Yeah,
context
it's
sent to me.
it's up on stream now. Yes.
Is that very practical for popcorn usage?
Absolutely not. That's why I ordered it sans popcorn. I don't even want to fiddle with that. I had a hard enough time trying to get it open just to see if if it would be reasonable to put any popcorn in there. And the answer is absolutely not. This thing is it's hefty.
Yeah. The popcorn goes there in the end, and I do feel like someone sitting next to you is going to get potentially impaled with the other end
Yeah.
of this warhammer.
Well, see, the good thing about that is nobody went to go see Lord of the Rings: War of the Rohirrim. I had the entire row of the Prime Theater to myself.
You know,
So
Tyler,
I sat there in my seat and Warhammer in the other one. And I sat there ready to defend Helm's
Right.
Deep.
I'm not shocked that there weren't many consumers for the anime version of Lord of the Rings. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Well, I feel like two very different weekends right here
Yeah.
that are on display. One where you're making room for this hammer next to you, and one where you're making room for all the different family members that are
Yeah,
now part of the family tree.
it was fun. Like I said, I got to get Sadie out of her crib because I was there early, and it's so cute when they just wake up,
Right.
you know?
This is a weird question.
Okay.
I mean, out of context, but this is in context, so
Yeah.
maybe it's less weird. But what's your favorite thing about babies? Like, do you like their giggle? Do you like to pinch the cheeks? I was always nervous holding small children
Yeah.
until I had my own, and then I got way more comfortable with it.
That's kinda how I felt. I didn't have a natural inclination towards I never babysat as a teenager/young adult, not my forte. So didn't really have an affinity towards children until I had my own niece, and now I'm like, she is perfect. But I love, like, how inquisitive they are
Mhm.
when they start to kinda develop awareness of, like, they can kinda determine what things are, and they make their little faces and expressions, and,
Yeah.
like, when they reach out, like, they wanna go to you.
See,
It's
for a
awesome.
long time before I was a father, I was an uncle,
Mhm.
and that was, like, really awesome
Yeah.
because you get to just do the fun stuff,
Yes.
and you just get the cuteness,
And then I get to leave.
and then you can detach from the
Yes.
responsibility.
And then just buy gifts, and then I'm
Yeah.
awesome, and then I leave.
So I was an uncle for a long time before I had my own, but it did prepare me to be hopefully a better
Yeah.
father, and so I feel like you're in that fun stage of,
I
like, being
am.
the fun aunt who
Yeah.
can just kinda
Cruise in.
yeah, you're the Fant,
Yeah, the Fant.
the fun aunt.
Fant and the Funkle.
Okay, that's all we're gonna say about that.
Hopefully the mic caught all that.
Hopefully so. Hey, I wanna get into our top story here right off the top because, guys, I'm excited. I'm really excited. I've been buying stock up in this James Gunn Superman project for a while now, and on paper, there's a lot of hurdles that this James Gunn project has for sure. But I feel pretty confidently that it's going to clear a lot of those hurdles. Now, there's been some rough steps here at the beginning. We'll get into that. But today, I think, was a big day for Superman fans, a big day for comic book fans, a big day for DC fans. And we're going to get into exactly why. As we learned today that the first Superman trailer is officially dropping Thursday, 8 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern. That is on Thursday. As James Gunn's Superman, starring David Corenswet, got a motion poster that paid respects to Christopher Reeve's iconic version of Superman. If you listen closely, you can definitely hear a slowed down interpretation of the John Williams Superman theme from Reeves' 1978 film. Williams' score normally has its blasting horns and triumphant tone, but the poster that's in motion for this remixes the music with a quieter, more thoughtful reimagining, as the horns and brass are traded for strings and a woman's voice that hums the iconic melody. Tyler, there's basically two versions of this poster. There's the motion poster. I almost said potion. The motion poster. Say motion poster 10 times
Motion
fast.
poster, motion poster, motion poster, motion poster,
Okay,
motion poster,
okay.
motion
This
poster.
is why you get paid to talk for a living. That
See?
was excellent. Um, and then there is sort of the regular standard poster. Let me tell you, I love this first poster for
Oh, yeah.
Superman. I mean, it is a big winner in my opinion. I assume people are seeing it right now, maybe. I don't know.
I'll
Maybe
put
they'll
it
see it
back
very
up.
soon.
I had it up for a good bit.
But it kind of blends into the background. It's almost like there's some
Mhm.
curtains behind him and it sort of blends in perfectly. And you see the outline of the cape a little
Okay,
bit,
yep.
see the outfit. Tyler, what was your first reaction to this first poster that we got officially associated with the Superman movie?
So before this poster dropped today, the only thing I had seen was that first image of Superman where David Cornsweat's putting on the boots and
Yep.
there's a spaceship in the background. I absolutely hated that picture. It did not make me want to buy up any stock in this movie. This, however, looks very, very nice, and I can anticipate we'll have one here in the Meltdown studio next year.
And I would
Um,
love that.
I love the tagline as well. That "Look Up" tagline. It just, I don't know. It feels like classic Superman to me. It's just like he's a uniter. He's a symbol of hope. It's just a great look
I agree.
instead of the dark, gritty version that Zack Snyder tried to go with.
Well, we'll get into that. There's obviously a ton of Henry Cavill fans, and there's a lot of Zack Snyder fans that continue to yearn for the days of sort of a more sad Superman experience. I do want to, e.g., get your opinion
Yeah.
on the poster itself, because this is sort of the first official look, minus that putting on the boots to go find an alien monster thing that we've gotten. And this just screams to me classic. It screams to me polished. It screams to me be optimistic about the future of this character. When you look at this poster, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, when I first saw it, I actually was like, "Wait, what is this?" Because to me, when I think of a superhero poster, as I was primed to, look at it, I wasn't expecting it, but the more that I looked at it, I love the colors in the background, and, of course, my mind is like, "Man, this would look so cool in, like, if you are a superhero fan, but you kinda wanna go in a tasteful route in your home, this would be a good poster to
Mhm.
include in the movie room, do some accents with the colors and stuff like that."
Sure.
But I do think it's really well done, and I think the details are definitely there, and you wouldn't really expect it. It's kind of abstract in the background, but you see that cape, and it has tell like you were saying, with the look up, it's very nostalgic in a way
Mhm.
because, Superman, it's like, "What is that? What there he is."
Absolutely.
And so I do think it's really well done. I also like the simplistic nature of it. I feel like Superman is so, um, identifiable that you don't need much, and so the classic Superman
Mhm.
suit is iconic, and they
I'm
didn't
just
overdo
so
it.
glad that it's not like a floating heads poster.
Yeah, well, we haven't
I'm
gotten that yet, at
I'm
least.
tired of that style,
Yeah.
and oh gosh, I just can't gush over that tagline anymore.
Enough.
Look up. It's
It's
so
good.
good.
Yeah, it's very subtle there, but
Yeah.
it's powerful. This is a poster that elicits 1,000 words for sure. I mean, I love it, and even the non-motion one looks like Superman is in motion during
Yes.
this. I
Mhm.
just absolutely adore it. It does have more of a Christopher Reeve vibe than it does a Henry Cavill vibe, even though Corn Sweat has been confused with Cavill as being sort of the Wish version of Henry Cavill here for a little bit. I think, and I've said this before, I'll continue to say it, I think 2025's Superman film is one of the most important superhero movies of all time, if not the most important superhero movie of all time.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong. If this one flops, James Gunn's DCU is dead on arrival, and they're either gonna have to fold the Robert Pattinson, Matt Reeves Batverse into this, or just start all over again. And they can't do that. They just simply cannot. Warner Brothers has put in too much money into James Gunn and his vision for how this franchise and larger universe will go. So, yeah, you're right. This is the most important superhero movie that's ever been made and possibly ever will be.
The future of the character, the future of DC, the future of superhero cinema, the future of comic book characters are all on the line with this movie. It is going to be that intense of a rollout trying to get this thing right. But
Mhm.
e.g., everybody has their own version of Superman
They
that they
do.
have in their head, and they're very picky about
Yeah.
it not going outside of their vision of what Superman is perfectly. And right now, there's a very scattered fan base that has varying opinions on what Superman means to them.
Yeah, and one thing before we move on from the poster, I forgot to mention this. I like how it goes, like the gradient is dark to light. And I feel like you guys were mentioning the previous version of Superman was more of that gritty kind of not as clean, if you will, has more of an edge to him, but like I don't know, the dark to light is also just very satisfying to me.
I love it very, very much. I cannot wait to have it in this
I
studio.
know.
But the last poster I geeked out about so much was The Acolyte. Remember?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
That was
yeah?
a heck of a poster.
We were going nuts over that
Wait, I
poster
want to see
too.
this.
Oh, it was such a good
Send it to me,
poster.
Lionel.
We'll figure
I'll
out a
find it
way to
for
get
Okay,
you.
it to you
okay,
here. You may
okay.
just have to Google it.
Uh,
Just the Acolyte poster. It's a lightsaber that's bloodied, which means you'll hate it. But
how
I
do you
think,
spell acolyte?
ACOLYTE.
see, I was going to go with the alternative spelling, which is TRASH.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Let
That's
me see.
trash. Anyway, I was really excited about that poster, and then the series ended up being an absolute bummer. I'm hoping I don't fall into that same trap here with Superman because I love, 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 love this poster.
That one?
Yep. That's the one.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Once again, really like it, but it ended up being a horrible property. Very few people, e.g., think that Superman works in our
Yeah.
current time. He's too overpowered, he's too clean, he's too predictable, too boring, not layered enough for mass interest. Can Superman work in present day, in your opinion, based on the fact that it feels like people are leaning more and more into more optimistic takes here as of late?
I do think so, but I think that the timing of this is very important to the success of it. I mentioned to you I like the summer release factor, and obviously I'm not a movie novice like you guys, so the release dates and times, I don't look into them as much in terms of logistics, but a summer superhero movie that's Superman, that right there feels so American, summer, childhood, like, that just seems perfect.
4th of July
Yes.
feels here,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Americana wrapped up in a movie experience.
Yes,
Which
exactly.
kinda leads me back to a movie that recently kinda tapped into that,
Mhm.
Top Gun: Maverick,
My
your favorite movie of
favorite
all time?
movie of all time.
Can this movie I do feel like in order for this movie to be super successful, it's gotta tap into that Top Gun: Maverick feel,
Yep.
Yep.
which is an adrenaline rush
Mhm.
with characters that you care about.
Yep.
It's not overly preachy, it delivers exactly what you expect, it leaves you with this rush of like, "Yeah,"
Uh-huh.
and it lends itself to repeat viewings, you could bring the whole family to it.
Exactly.
It is like America on screen is what
Yes.
Top Gun: Maverick is, and it printed a lot of money due to
Right.
that. Can Superman replicate that same level of
I
success?
I hope that they can because I think that it's needed. I think that a rebirth of Superman would be great, especially even for our generation, Tyler. I feel like we didn't get the best
No, we
and
didn't.
all-encompassing view of Superman, and so to not only tap into our generation, but also these younger kids where they know who Superman is, but they haven't really gotten that treat to see him on the big screen. So I think if they follow the path that Top Gun set, which was why did we like that movie so much? One, it was well thought out, right? There weren't any glaring plot twists, and it was simplistic in its delivery. Like you said, you weren't
Mhm.
being preached at. The characters you fell in love with, but they're also I think the biggest thing is that there was good and there was evil, and good won.
Yeah, this has to be a shot of hope
Yes.
into people's arms, not only for the character himself, but also for the entire genre right now, which is really at a low point minus Deadpool and Wolverine. You take Deadpool and Wolverine out, and 2024 is one of the worst comic book movie years
Oh, yeah.
ever.
Well, that's because other than Deadpool and Wolverine, because, Marvel's been, like, really pumping the brakes as of late and trying to get their rollouts correct. You've just got all the slop that Sony's been putting out, and that is just tough to sit through. But this Superman poster just looks so hopeful and just back again to the tagline. It just that's what it's all about. That tells me that this movie will be about Superman being a
Mhm.
symbol of hope and optimism and a
Mhm.
uniter of the people. When I saw it, my first thought was, I wonder if there's going to be a line referencing it, like, if you ever need me, just look up, sort of deal, and that would be sweet.
Just the way you
I
say
just
it,
got
I
chills.
got chills too. That was like a dose of happiness that I needed right there. That was good. I have no idea why the police are searching
I
for you.
know, right?
It was so wholesome.
But people and you guys know this, people are craving that. That's what they want. They
Absolutely.
don't want the doom and
No.
gloom,
But
edge.
e.g., the internet has opinions, and
Of course.
the internet's not thrilled about this. You have a lot of gatekeepers that think that this level of Superman is going to be way too commercialized, way too generic, way too let's just try to make as many people happy as possible and not give anybody any sort of strong undertones of a story here, and they're already discounting it. Those people are typically proven wrong in situations
Typically.
like this.
But it's those kinds of people that are threatened by a version of Superman. It's those kinds of people that become insecure by a version of Superman that is wildly loved, that is too good, that has the woman, that has all the powers, that defeats the bad guy in the end, that threatens them.
We we used to idolize winners and heroes in this country, and I don't
Yes.
wanna sound like an old man or anything. I don't wanna
But
sound like a get off my lawn type of guy, but, like, winning used to be really cool in
it
this
used to
country.
be like, that is what we do. Now it's, "Here's a participation trophy for showing up."
Well, now we are getting into that
Now,
territory.
now EG, sounds
Sorry.
get off my lawn.
We call them popcorn buckets. You can call them participation trophies. We call them popcorn buckets for going and actually experiencing the film. I'm kidding.
That's not a participation trophy. You gotta
You gotta
pay for
pay.
that.
You got to pay for that.
You're
You got
exactly right
you gotta
about
pay
that.
good money.
But no, I mean, like, I want prime Michael Jordan energy
Yeah.
for Superman.
Yes. Like,
Like,
yes.
quit being so sad
And soft.
that you're Superman. Quit being
Yeah.
so, like early 2000s emo that you're
Happy Save the
Superman.
World.
Like bring in that dose of blue and red and yellow
Mhm.
and splash it across the page. And that's exactly what I feel like this poster has done. However, Tyler, there are fans of that version of Superman that will not give this version of Superman a chance. There are Christopher Reeve fans out there that will only like Christopher Reeve, the Christopher Reeve era. There are Henry Cavill fans that will only like the Henry Cavill era. And both of those are kind of teaming up to refuse to give David Cornsweet an honest chance. Now, the name itself, right?
It's
It doesn't
not
roll off
great.
the tongue.
It's like, oh, that's Superman? Okay, David Cornsweet. Yeah, I can get behind this guy. Yeah, David Cornsweet is the best.
Ugh.
It's a tough name to sell, right? But I'm holding out hope that David Cornsweet can deliver the goods, even though I still hate saying the name.
Corn sweat.
Corn
It
sweat.
does sound like some sort of horrible reaction you have to a certain type of food, like an allergic reaction.
The corn
like
sweats.
or like when you eat too much and you start sweating. Like in this case,
Yeah.
you get the corn sweats.
It-
You've just been taking down corn on the cob and a lotte all day.
I got the meat sweats, Diane. That's what it feels like to me. And
It's not great.
it's not great.
Henry Cavill, that name sounded like Clark Kent.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are good. And both performers, I want to make this clear. I do not like the Henry Cavill Superman movies.
Yeah.
None of them.
Mm-mm.
I don't like a single one of them.
Mm.
But I love Henry Cavill in the role of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
See that was my first time seeing Superman on the big screen, which, that's probably why I haven't been excited for this movie until this poster. Because my only real experience with Superman outside of like the Justice League cartoons or whatever is Henry Cavill snapping General Zod's neck and just
Being emo.
me just being like, that's not Superman, I don't think.
I think that, once again, you have these two groups of fans in Christopher Reeve and Henry Cavill, Superman fans, that aren't giving David Cornsweet an honest chance here, but they really don't have much to go off of. The only thing we've really seen him in commercially has been the Tornado Part 2, as EG calls it. Twisters, and he was good in Twisters. It was in a smaller role, but he was good in Twisters. I'm holding out hope that this is going to be a performance that delivers. But what do you think about them using, some of the older music to tie in to this new Superman? Obviously, using the John Williams score in that motion poster, because the way they did it, it felt like new but respectful of what had come before.
That's exactly how it felt. And with a theme as iconic as the original Superman theme, I mean, you're gonna reference it in some way for sure. You'd be a fool to not, with everything that James Gunn and DC Studios has been doing to try and bring back that image of old DC and Americana and everything. So this felt like a modern take on the original Superman theme, and I think it's perfect for this movie.
People forget how big of a swing Guardians of the Galaxy was when it came out from
yeah.
Marvel.
The Guardians of the Galaxy was a comic book that just did not sell well. These were weird characters that no one had ever heard of.
Yeah.
James Gunn dug them up from the grave of pure irrelevance.
And made a fantastic film.
Correct.
In Guardians 1. I really, really like Guardians 2. I don't love Guardians 3.
I
Gross.
actually still haven't seen Guardians 3.
Horrible.
EG walked out of that film.
I did.
So, EG, that's the last taste of James Gunn directing that she's had. So, who knows? Does she walk out of Superman? I doubt it, but we will see. But this is the key to making Superman work. You know how Marvel movies, they all have like a subgenre of movie that they are?
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is a horror movie, which is why you bring in a Sam Raimi to try to edge up the horror there. This movie needs to be a love story between Clark and Lois. And that is what made the first Superman so special and so timeless, was that connection. Margot Kidder does not get enough credit for playing Lois Lane perfectly. Everyone talks about how Superman is tough to replicate, including us.
Lois.
Mhm.
But Lois, there has not been another Lois Lane, minus her, that has really stood out. Even Amy Adams. You don't
Mm.
hear Snyder Bros really talking about their love of Amy Adams,
Oh,
who's currently playing in Night Bitch, by the way, which is a movie that I refuse to see. But I just think that Lois is important to get right here. Rachel Brosnahan has been cast as Lois Lane. You may know her most from The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, I believe, right?
oh yeah, yeah.
Rachel Brosnahan, I should say. Nicholas Holt as Lex Luthor, and there's a lot of people not consuming Nicholas Holt's work, but that guy is good. He was this close to being cast as Batman.
Mm.
He was this close. He
Really?
finished second place to
Mm.
Robert Pattinson to becoming Batman, which is why he was sort of in the DC circle to then be considered for
Gotcha.
Lex
Yeah.
Luthor. He's tremendous in Juror number 2. He's really good in a movie that I saw called The Menu, which I'm not sure. Was it called The Menu? I think it was called The Menu.
Yep.
It was really fantastic.
Also in the Order this year,
He's in The Order. He's been in a lot of movies that
and Nosferatu next week.
he's in Nosferatu, yes. He's in a lot of movies that people either haven't had the ability to see or haven't gone and seen, but he's really good, and I look forward to seeing his Lex Luthor take. It's got to be better than Jesse Eisenberg's take. Now, look, I know you're a Jesse Eisenberg fan, but the whole like Mark Zuckerberg take on Lex Luthor did not work for me.
Okay,
And
it did for me.
it worked for you.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I was rooting for Lex Luthor in that movie for some reason because I wanted to see something different than what we saw in Man of Steel. But I didn't love the Zuckerberg Lex Luthor take. So this is going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. It obviously comes out there July 11th. It'll be the first film released under the new DC Studios, overseen by James Gunn and Peter Safran. As there's a lot riding on this.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a weighty production, and we have on Thursday our first trailer. It's just going to be a teaser trailer, but I think we're going to get our first full-length trailer during
keep
the
saying
Super
Super
Bowl.
Bowl,
I've
yeah.
been saying it forever. It's a perfect time to unleash the first full-length
Yeah.
trailer, and that's when people are going to really decide, are they for or against the movie? Are they rooting for it or against it? And that's going to be the most important trailer. The first one is it's going to be a great first glimpse. There'll be overreaction, no doubt, but that first full-length trailer is what is actually going to be remembered on Super Bowl Sunday.
Is it aliens that's gonna be the enemy?
Typically, it is some sort of alien
Yeah.
because Superman himself is an alien. So,
True.
yes, typically he's fighting some otherworldly being, but it could be, I mean, Lex Luthor and Lex Luthor alone, there's a possibility, but we'll see. I know there's a lot of other fantastical characters from the DC universe that'll be popping up in this.
Yeah, that first picture that we got with the alien spaceship. Every time I see a spaceship with like that kind of coloring, like the pink and the green, I always think Brainiac. I also think that's where it would build up to connect to a lot of the other properties they're trying to build out. But we'll see because we also know that Kyle Chandler is playing Hal Jordan in this.
No, that is incorrect.
Whoa.
Yes.
Dun dun dun.
That's a separate project, I believe.
Oh, Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion
Yep.
is playing Guy Gardner, the Green
Ah,
Lantern.
Yep.
And then you have Metamorpho in this as well, being played by Anthony Kerrigan.
So
So
Green Lantern will be in this.
a Green Lantern will be in this.
I like that.
But I think the Hal Jordan Green Lantern will not be connected to this, I don't think.
Oh, okay. I thought that might have been because James Gunn mentioned he wants to do like a Lantern Corps
Yeah.
movie. I thought that might
There's
fit
definitely
in,
a
that
chance
was
it
gonna be
intertwines.
Kyle Chandler and Nathan Fillion.
Definitely a chance it intertwines. I just don't think they're doing it in this movie.
I gotcha.
Which is who knows if Robert Pattinson's Batman ever gets associated with this version of Superman 2, because they flirted with the idea of it's really popular, let's bring it in as being a part of this universe, and I think that would be a huge mistake.
I do too.
keep it
James
separate.
Gunn has denied that this will be a thing so many times. I think a lot of the rumors that will be happening, that Pattinson will be folded over into the new DCU, is just people who are massive fans of the Robert Pattinson Batman
Yeah.
that want it to happen and are grasping for anything to try and make it sound like it could happen.
I'm there. I'm there. Let's go to the chat here. We've got some. I'm going to address Steven here first. Steven says, "How do you hate Guardians of the Galaxy 3 but love 2?" I don't hate 3.
I do.
I didn't really like part 2.
EG hates 3. I like 2 a lot. 3 for me, it's the animal torture
Same.
abuse stuff that I felt unprepared for watching it
Same.
the first time. And it was jarring to me, and it was just like painfully drawn out.
Yeah, it was just like, one, I mean, obviously it's necessary for the film
Yep.
premise, but that should be kind of clear before you go in. 2, it was way too much. Like, you get the gist.
Yeah, I mean, they kept flashing back to it throughout the
Yeah.
course, and I didn't. Sad animal movies. I like to know they're sad animal movies before I watch them, and I didn't realize Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was going to be a sad animal
Oh,
movie.
see, that's why I didn't go see that.
Marley and Me?
No, I have seen
Oh.
Marley and Me, and that broke me. That's why I didn't go see that Mark Wahlberg movie where he's like hiking with that dog he
The
finds.
dog lived in that.
Oh,
I
he does?
checked.
Okay, I'll go watch it.
Yeah.
I'll go watch it now.
Spoiler alert,
Oh, well,
everybody.
I
I'm
had
good with
to
that.
check.
That's a good kind of spoiler.
Yeah.
I hope EG's right about. I
I
hope
know,
you
we should
remember
s-
correctly.
Yeah, you better
Double
not
check.
be leading me astray.
I don't like horse movies. I don't like dog movies. I don't like anything with animals because
No.
the animal is always the one that just, I don't know.
Let's see, Hunter in the chat. Superhero movies are for the summer, and Star Wars movies are for December, if we can ever get one.
Agreed.
I agree. And Star Wars was always associated with summer. But when they started getting me in the holiday trend with Star Wars, man, I was all for it because that's a perfect time to get up the whole family, watch all the reruns of all the other movies on television
Yep.
or on Disney Plus, or pull out the physical media collection, which I have, and watch those. And it just kind of gets you re-energized. And Disney themselves said, we're going to drop this formula and we're going to go to something else. And that was such a mistake, in my opinion. So hopefully they'll get back into doing that. Let's see. Nick said that I would end up, since I love the poster, hating the trailer, and it'll be disappointing and it'll kill the whole movie for him. Not true. I'm going to be honest about what my trailer take is, but he was saying that he was just referencing the Acolyte. When I saw the poster for the Acolyte, it was one of my all-time favorite promotional posters I've ever seen. And I thought, okay, they're really going to do something gritty and powerful here with the Acolyte series. And then I saw the trailer, and you can go back and watch the trailer reaction. It's the first time I'd ever seen it. And I said, I'm seeing some red flags here. Like, this looks cheap. This does not look good to me. Now, once you hear the price tag, you can be like, well, it wasn't cheap, Tim. You're right.
Yeah.
They wasted a bunch of money. I was wrong. It wasn't cheap. They wasted a bunch of money because it's not on screen. I don't know where it's at. It's not with the cast.
Money laundering.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah, I think it is, EG. You're
Yeah.
not wrong. It looks terrible.
The Acolyte is one of the most poorly written things I've ever seen in the history of media.
There were 5. Do you remember the episode where there were 5 or 6 lines back and forth that was just no?
Yes.
No.
I remember that.
No.
I remember that.
Oh.
I love how we always circle back. Like, the three of us are very different people, obviously.
Yes.
But, like, we all circle back on, like, this hatred of the Acolyte. I've never seen it, but obviously, like, in honor of you guys, no to the Acolyte.
You hate it in spirit there.
Yeah.
I just absolutely hate the Acolyte. And I was right about its quality once I saw the trailer. If this David Cornsweet Superman, I don't know why it's so funny.
It is.
That's a problem.
And
That's
I
a
know.
problem with marketing. If you can't market the main star as Superman,
Cornsweet.
Cornsweet.
He should have changed his name.
You really should have.
I think that would have been a worse headline. David Cornsweet changed his name so that way he can
No,
secure
like,
Superman part.
Early in his career, he should
Yeah.
have said, David Cornsweet isn't exactly going to headline.
That's fair. But if the trailer's awful, if it leans more into that first photo we saw than it does the poster that we just saw, I'll be honest with my take. And I don't pre-love it, I don't pre-hate it, but I'll tell you this, they're 1-1 right now in promotional material.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever let that first photo out, that was not a good move of him putting on his boots, looking nonchalant while the city behind him is being destroyed. Not a good look. This poster, however, regal. I mean, it just looks like Superman just put on perfect flat surface for us to enjoy, or you can watch the motion version of the poster that has sort of the soundtrack there behind
So
it.
1-1 right now between the official poster and the first look image.
Yep.
Did you see the picture of Crypto?
I did not see the
Oh,
picture of
okay,
crypto.
that might be the tiebreaker then, because I saw that before this came out, and I was like, "Let's go."
And that's
We got Crypto.
it's an official release?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I have not seen that, so I will check that out. But I feel like for me, the true tiebreaker is going to be the trailer on Thursday, and I'm hoping we're gushing over it. I
Me
really
too.
am rooting for it, but I'll be honest on whether or not it hits for me. But we are going to be having our most anticipated 2025 discussion coming out here at the first of the year. And make no mistake that Superman from James Gunn in July will definitely be on my list of most anticipated movies of 2025. So look out there for that content. All right, from Superman to a group of super dentists, we encourage you to reach out to the dental team that we trust most, located on Grants Mill Road. Dr. Jeff, Dr. Brian, and Dr. Nolan over at Alabama Dental Associates. They can make you feel like a man of steel. They provide all sorts of services when it comes to staying on top of your dental health, whether you have that nagging toothache or you need to get on top of those regular cleanings. They are there for you to work out that schedule. Maybe you're new in town, need to make sure you have a dentist on standby here in the area. Reach out and try Alabama Dental Associates for yourself. They're accepting new patients right now and can help you feel at ease about all of your upcoming dental procedures. For more information or to make an appointment, call them 205 956 8977 or visit alabamadental.com where they look forward to seeing you. Right, another chat check in. What you got for us, Tyler?
Actually, not a chat check-in this time. I pulled that image of Crypto so you could see it, Tim. Now, when I was a young lad, there was a cartoon on Boomerang called Crypto the Superdog, and that was my first introduction to Superman's pet. And it was a wonderful show. He met up with Ace the Bat Hound, and they got into all a bunch of shenanigans and hijinks.
Oh, yeah.
James Gunn has taken this version of Crypto, and it's inspired by his own dog. So,
I do remember this.
mhm,
It meant nothing to me when I saw it because I
okay.
don't have that connection that you have. But your story is valid and everything. I'm just saying that I do vaguely remember when I saw this going, oh, okay, that's interesting. That was nice. It felt very much more James Gunnish than it felt Christopher Reevish, I
Okay.
guess, which is why I'm so attached to the poster over this image of a man and his dog. What if this turns out to be a sad animal movie? Will that break
Oh,
your heart?
It will,
yes.
because I love Crypto. He's just a sweet little boy,
Yeah.
always doing the right thing. Um, I love the design for Crypto in this movie, because I'm not wild about the Labrador Retriever look that
Yeah.
he had in the cartoon, even though that was my first introduction to him. I like this scruffy little pup.
Tyler, I'm not trying to discount you, but the only person that I want crypto advice from is Jim Dunaway. So I'm
Agreed.
going to leave it at that.
Oh, that's
Okay.
fair. He's like
He's
a
the crypto
crypto
king.
millionaire.
Yeah, he is. Okay, let's get into another meltdown countdown. I assign a topic of 5 things that is returned with a list that is always impactful and meaningful. And I know that EG has put in the time on this one, and my task for you is a little bit convoluted. So I'm going to try to explain it as simply as I can to the audience.
I think we can do it.
It is the holiday season. There's a lot of people making sort of last minute decisions on what they're going to get for everybody. I'm one of those.
You.
I've somewhat started
Yeah, yeah.
my shopping, but I'm not all the way there yet. I have asked EG to give us a gift giving guide for 5 different types of individuals that may be a part of your life. Okay. These are the 5 different types of individuals. There's the parental figures. Maybe it's your parents, maybe it's your grandparents, the people that raised you. That's one of the options there. There's a significant other that is a female, a significant other that is a male. There are kids. Sometimes shopping for the little ones can be a little bit tricky.
Yep.
And then there is one group that I think is maybe especially tricky, but we'll see if it ends up at number 1 on this meltdown countdown, and that is teenagers. What in the world are you supposed to get teenagers this day and age? EG is going to fill us in on some tips for all of these different types of individuals that you may still be shopping for right here at this very moment. EG, did I do a proper
Yeah,
explanation there?
I think so.
Okay. So, how did you approach the list?
Yeah. So I love gift giving. I consider myself to be a fairly good gift giver. And I approach this with helpful hints that will help you be a better gift giver to these groups of people.
Okay.
And some of them are obvious, some of them you need a reminder of, and some of them you may not have really considered, if you will.
Okay.
So we're going to get into it.
Yep. Let's start off with number 5.
Number 5 being the easiest to buy for on the list, and that
I
is
guess
yeah,
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
kids. They're easy, but I'm going to show you guys a twist on it, if you will.
Okay.
But my first point is ask the parents what they want/need for their kid. Now, you may say, but EG, that's not fun, or the parents know more than you. So, for example, if you want to get them the latest and greatest toy, how do you know that Santa Claus is not already bringing that?
That is
And you don't want to ruin the magic.
that is correct.
So, always consult the parents first, because that also leads to my next point. Screen time is sensitive. So don't be the friend, aunt, uncle that gets the kid the little tablet or like a game for some sort of screen, because you never know what the parent's stance is on letting their kids watch TV, watch movies, play video games.
But EG, what if you're a funt or a funkle?
Well, that is why you ask the parents beforehand, and you can still be a funkle or a fan.
Oh, it's fant.
Fant.
I messed that up.
Yeah, you
I
know.
called it a funt. Funt does not have.
Yeah.
We should sell shirts though that just say funt.
Yeah.
What are you? I'm a fun ant.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I could buy that.
I would.
Oh.
Funkle and funt? Funt
Fant.
or fant?
Fan.
Oh,
Fant is
fun.
not as good. Funt
Funt.
works a lot better.
Yeah.
I hope the microphone's
Well,
picking
once,
up
I
yeah,
do
yeah. Once
too.
again, I hope the microphone picked up every sound.
So, okay, my next point is don't buy something. I do too.
I think
I
that
do
there's a multitude of ways that did not work out for us.
There is a
audience.
non-zero chance that we just got our channel age restricted.
No, let's not.
No.
For the
It is
kids.
for the kids. Don't buy something that you find annoying. Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm a funkle. That's the way funkles look. I'm listening to you.
I know you're so
Keep
eager.
presenting.
I'm still presenting. Okay, don't buy them something that looks or seems annoying to you in the 5 minutes that you have the gift and the 5 minutes you're playing with the gift. If it beeps, if it boops, if it bumps, don't give it to the kid, because the parents will have to listen to that thing far longer than you will. Can you agree as a parent?
I can agree.
Okay.
I can
All
agree.
right. My last
Can I-
point.
Can I just give one more thing?
Yeah,
I think you maybe have thrown this in there, but I may have lost it in all the Funkle Funt talk. So, like, don't give something to your niece or nephew that your brother or sister then have to work really
Yeah.
hard to put together
That-
a
okay.
project.
That was in my honorable mention that apply for all of this. Don't gift a project or something that you have to get batteries for. If it requires batteries, buy batteries with it.
Right.
Okay? Include the batteries.
Yeah. It's tough enough sometimes just getting the packaging open on some of this stuff. It's like you have to get out the sharp knives for
Right.
that, and then to have to then
Assemble it.
assemble it all of Christmas Day. That's
No.
a nightmare.
If you're going to buy something like that, assemble it and include batteries. My last point for kids, take them out. This is not only a gift for the kid, but for, why are you laughing, Tyler?
Mhm. How are you taking them out?
Take them out for a fun play day.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
It's not
Go-
like the movie Blank Check,
No,
Tyler. Come on,
no,
get your head out of the
golly.
gutter. It's not that.
Take them out. The parents will appreciate it. One of my favorite memories is going to World of Coke with my cousin when she was in college. I thought it was the coolest thing ever because, like, we had a day to ourselves and it was so much fun. And you can do it for relatively cheap too. That can be very cost effective. And the kid will remember that over some Lego set that they're going to lose all the pieces to, and then the dad's going to step on.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, some solid advice there for sure. And age appropriateness is important. If
Of
you've never
course.
had kids, there's a big difference between what a 2-year-old wants and what a 5-year-old wants.
Yeah.
Like, even though they seem like anything under 5, is fair game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's at the number 5 spot. Kids, there's your gift giving
Yep.
guide on.
So if you're giving somebody the gift of taking them out, do you typically go for here are tickets for the kid and the parents, or are you volunteering to take them?
Volunteering yourself.
I think that's a
Yep.
good play, because otherwise you're making the parents, well, I got to find a day and block
Uh-huh.
out the time now
Tyler, you're onto something.
and get into
'cause-
traffic and everything
Yep.
else.
That's one of my points coming up. So hold on to that thought.
All right.
Lots of great stuff in the chat here as well. Samuel says, just joined in. My family has started using Amazon wish lists, and I feel like it's the
Great.
worst thing ever.
Oh,
Yeah. I guess it's because
interesting.
there's this expectation that if you don't get something on that list, then you failed them somehow, you know?
That's true. Yeah.
So there's like that weird expectation of like, okay, well, what do I get on here? And then do I get the cheapest thing on
Ooh,
this
I never thought
list? Do
about
I get
that. Yeah.
the medium thing? I don't know. And then Charles says all of our sons are older now and their tastes are expensive as hell.
That's the trade-off you pay for not having to assemble anything anymore. You no longer have to put together the play sets. Now you've just gotta
Fork out
spend
the
a few
cash.
a few hundred, more dollars for the Xbox or whatever, and they will set that up.
Let's now go to number 4 on
Yep.
this Meltdown countdown. And I'm going to guess that you went parents on this one.
Yeah, I did.
So far, I'm 2 for 2.
You are 2 for 2. Parents/grandparents. This is my rule of thumb, typically. There are some exceptions to the rule. Go sentimental over monetary value when it comes to your parents or your grandparents. What I mean by this is don't necessarily get something that, oh, all the siblings go in on it together. It's $300 and it's some sort of, I don't know, massage gun. Spend the $300 elsewhere because there comes a point where you want more experiences with your family than nice things, I would say. Again, there's an exception to that. Me and my siblings got my mom this plate that has her mom's handwriting on her favorite recipe
Oh my
off of
gosh.
Etsy. Perfect gift. Still a little pricey, but that she will cherish far longer than something else.
But e.g., what about all the heartless people that may be going, I'm not good at the sentimental. I'm good at buying the massage gun. I know exactly what
Yes.
aisle that's on, but I'm not good at pulling and tugging on the heartstrings.
And that's okay. My second point, purchase an experience that the family can do together or an experience that your parents can do together. Now, Lionel, this leads me to my next point. Don't give them empty, like, hey, we planned this for you, but we don't have a date set. We don't exactly know what exactly you want, but like, here's some cash slash like the general idea. Cause that never gets done unless you actually execute it. It never follows through. Would you guys agree with that?
Oh, yeah. No, the planning is
Yeah.
always the hurdle that is the toughest at the end of the process to
Yeah.
make sure that that process is then respected.
Exactly. Nice. Respect the process. Plug there. If photos are important to the family, have your siblings, whomever, gather prior to the day of Christmas. This could be a summer thing. This you can really get ahead of the times here. Take a nice photo, frame it. Don't make your mom frame it or your dad, and boom, there you go. They will love that.
I think that's great. That's great advice, Tyler. I mean, E.G.'s cooking right now.
That's great advice.
Great advice.
Great
Okay.
advice.
Thank you.
Let's move on to number 3. And I think now is when we start to get into the
Okay.
significant other category. And I'm going to
Yes.
say it's much, much easier shopping for a man than a woman. I'm going to say you've got a male significant other next.
Yes. Okay.
I'm 3 for
3
3.
for 3. Okay. So this is
It's scary
speaking.
how close y'all are getting.
I know.
Look at this.
Speaking to the
We're
ladies.
just a funt and a funkle.
We are spot of uncle. Okay. They're actually a golfer.
Tyler's going to be so angry when we're demonetized. Anyway,
Yes.
please continue.
Yeah,
If
you
they,
already got us demonetized talking about your neighbors the other day.
Oh, gosh.
I did. I really.
We'll talk about it
We'll
another
talk
time.
about it later.
I have a feeling they're not on your
Yeah.
Christmas list.
Really gets demonetized.
Yeah,
Well,
you owe us
What
a
did I
quarter.
say?
We'll get into it
I guess
another
we can't
time.
say it again. Okay. Anyway,
Let's not do it again,
Yeah.
E.G. Was it that got us in trouble the first time? I want to say it again.
just do it. Okay. If your significant other that is a male, so this is to the ladies,
Right.
is actually a golfer, a tech lover, a sports lover, a video game player, etc., avoid, for the love of all that is good, Googling gifts for my golf boyfriend, gifts for my video game player boyfriend. 9 times out of 10, those gifts are either cheesy, they're not useful, or they're not for the actually above novice level
Right.
person in all those categories.
Or they don't have it already for a reason. They don't want
Yes.
that brand or they don't need it
Yes.
like to accomplish what they accomplish in their hobby time.
Right.
So it's risky.
A lot of those like things that you would consider like just ready to go gifts
Right.
or like little niche hobbies like that, whether it's video game, golf, or whatever, they always just come off as tacky to me. And I always look at them and say, if somebody was like really an enthusiast of that,
They don't
I don't think they would want that.
or if they're actually good at whatever they're
That's true.
like
It's usually cheaper stuff.
yeah.
It's like beginner stuff.
Like, for example, my boyfriend is a golfer, he played in college. If I were to get him the first 10 items on, like, what to get your golf boyfriend, he'd be like, "Thank you, but, like,
Yeah.
I'm never gonna use this." So just keep that in mind. Like you mentioned, brands are important when it comes to hobbies. So while we may not know the difference between a set of gaming headphones, there is a difference. And I think it's appropriate because you're investing in something like that to ask what the difference is,
Right.
in my opinion.
You really the way you know you won is if you'll know from the body language when they first open it up for sure.
Yep.
But then when they start asking questions, if they start saying, "Well, where did you get this from?"
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
"Oh, how much did
I
you
told
spend on
you.
that?"
Yeah.
Or if they start having inquisitive sort of takes on exactly how it is they get rid of this product in their life and back to the store so they can get what they actually want, you have
Mhm.
failed. That is a
Exactly.
failure.
Exactly. Now, for the men, needs base is not a bad thing. If you notice that he needs something, get it.
Mhm.
For example, need some new shoes. If you guys are going somewhere and he's like, "Man, I need a new puffy jacket." Great time to get it is Christmas.
Absolutely.
I think that's a great thing. Tickets to an event are always a good idea, whether that's a concert, a game, things like that. You can make a whole day out of it. But I think that's something that one you can look forward to. Now, granted, if you break up, oopsies.
This has
That's
happened.
happened to me.
Yeah.
This has happened. I know someone who got Taylor Swift tickets,
Oh, yeah.
and this happened twice to them. One time in a marriage situation, then in the marriage dissolved. The
Ooh.
other time because the Eras tour lasted so long. The other time because they were dating somebody and they had planned on bringing this person, and it didn't. Neither one of them worked out. So there you go. There's a reason this person is a fan of Taylor Swift because all she writes is breakup songs, so it works out
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. I mean, so you have to kind of take the gamble there. Now, hopefully, if it's a marriage, you have some more, foundational reassurance, but you never know.
Maybe if you never know,
Yeah.
pretty soon, the wife is off with her personal trainer going to your Eras tour.
Yeah.
And that can't actually happen anymore because the Eras tour is done.
But
But retroactively
it
in
could
this
happen.
situation, that's what we're going with.
Yeah.
Okay.
One more point
Slow
for the
dancing
men.
to the Eras Tour movie.
Correct.
Yeah. This is appears on 2 of my lists. Listen, keep a running list on your phone. You can do a little password on it of sizing, what
That's
size
important.
shirts, pants, shoes, sizing, color preferences, and in passing, we're like, "Oh my gosh, I really like this." Just write it down, and then you can refer back to it.
I think that there's a stigma
Okay.
that guys don't want clothing on Christmas. And I think it's incorrect.
I do
I
too.
agree.
I think guys, the older they get, the more they appreciate the clothing. And
Yeah.
especially if they know, hey, I can put this on and it's already spouse or significant other approved.
Already EG approved.
Right. If it's already approved, then all they have to do at that point is just make sure that it's pretty much
Clean.
unwrinkled and clean.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, she's gonna like this because she got it.
Yeah.
And it is actually a relief when
Mhm.
you receive clothes in that
Yep.
situation. So for the ladies that are like, well, I don't know, I don't want my boyfriend or my husband to get upset that I just got him clothes when he's so into all these other things. It's actually a really good bet as long as you don't retroactively hate those clothes that you purchased for him for some reason.
Yes, and again, I think if you're gonna buy the clothes, have sort of a basis for what he likes and mold it with what you like.
Yeah.
So don't just if he never wears XYZ, don't gift him that. But if you're like, maybe he would look good in this, then you can ease into it. You know what I mean? You don't have to jump head first,
Right.
but just you can mold it.
One more thing,
Yeah.
just since we're on the topic,
We're here.
don't try to change. Don't use this as a way to change your man.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like this isn't the time,
no.
right? So
No.
like, don't buy me a bunch of Hot Topic. Well, no, I actually do like a lot of the
Oh,
Hot
really?
Topic
Yeah, I was
stuff.
about to say they got a lot of stuff you would
Okay.
wear.
No, I'm
just,
trying to.
just in terms of like
Correct.
graphic tees and
No,
hoodies.
you're right. That was a bad one to choose. I actually like a
'Cause
lot
if
of
I were
stuff.
trying to buy Mikey Hot Topic, he would break up with me.
Well, there you go. Now we both feel bad about our Hot Topic usage. No, it's
no.
okay.
It's
fine.
okay. I haven't shopped there since high school.
If
I'm
you
gonna
guys
insult it
received
all
a
you want.
set of golf clubs
Right.
or a golf thing, you'd be like, "Thanks, but, like, this is not what I do."
Right. I guess I'm just saying, like,
That's a
Don't
bad example.
No, you're good.
Anyways.
Don't try to use this as a moment where you're like, "Oh, I can finally get him to become someone he's not."
Okay, here's an example.
Yeah.
If your boyfriend does not work out, do not gift him pre-workout, workout clothes, and a membership to Orange Theory.
Oh, you know that that's happening, though.
Absolutely.
That happens every Christmas.
For
People
sure.
start to
Sounds like it happened to someone in EG's life. That was specific.
Oh, no, I just came up with that.
Oh,
That was
Call
good.
me
that was
gift
good.
giver.
That was good. Okay,
Yeah.
let's move on to number 2, which I think is clearly going to be significant other female.
No.
No!
Teenagers.
No!
Yeah,
I've lost.
I know. I should have lied and said, no,
No,
you're
no,
right.
no. I appreciate you being honest.
Okay, teenagers. They're hard to buy for,
It should be number
and they're
1.
getting harder to buy for. But there's a cheat code. What is popular works. Brand focused. This is not the time to go to TJ Maxx or Ross Dress for Less.
Oh,
I mean, I was already feeling a
No.
little bit attacked.
he snuck in a punch.
I was already feeling a little bit attacked, but now it's like, open wounds. It's
I
open
apologize.
wounds. It's okay.
Similar. Listen, I would love a gift from TJ Maxx or Ross Dress for Less. The teenagers don't. The similar does not count here. They will know the difference. Now, you can get name brand steals at those places. Personally, when it comes to the teens, they don't care about what it looks like. They just want to have what everyone else has. So it doesn't matter what brand it is. If it's Nike, if it's Adidas, if it's whatever.
Can I give an example here of
Yeah.
something you're talking about? And I don't know. I know you're talking apparel, but hear me out. I think, was it last year?
Stanley Cups.
Stanley Cups.
Oh, yeah, that's a
Stanley
good
Cups.
point.
Every teenager in my life was going crazy for these Stanley Cups. And I asked, well, do they do anything different than, I have a Yeti, okay? I was gifted a Yeti.
Nice
This was
Yeti.
gifted to me by Spud at our holiday poker game.
I wanted that too because
Oh.
it had an Amazon gift card in it too.
I was so happy to get this, but I show up with my Yeti and they're like, oh, Stanley's what's in. And I'm like, but I thought Yeti was in.
It
They're like,
used
oh,
to
no.
be in
And now there's something that's replaced the Stanley.
Owala.
Owala is now the big thing.
Yes.
Okay. I've got a 7-year-old daughter going, I want an Owala. I was like, you're not getting a koala. And she's like, no, not koala, Owala.
Owala. Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm glad I was a Funkle because I'm no longer a fad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
what you
I got
mean.
you.
So with that being said,
Tyler's like, I can't get a word in
No.
during this.
yeah, you can just get one of the $8 cups from
Nope.
Walmart that's made in the
No.
same factory. I
can't.
know kids aren't gonna go for
But
that
you-
because that's not that doesn't give
Cool.
them the clout at school.
That's-
But
That's my
I've got
point.
one in my cabinets at home.
Oh, yeah. Functional.
Works
Thing.
amazing.
No.
See, guys like functionality
Yes.
at a price that's reasonable.
Cost me $8.
Women and teenagers, especially teenage girls, they like status stuff.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
No, but it's costly.
Yeah.
There are a million things at TJ Maxx in the water bottle section that would suffice. That would overperform a Stanley Cup. If it does not have the Stanley Cup, don't bother. Just don't bother. They'll hate it. Moving on.
This has made me less optimistic about my buying now.
I know.
Just buy her the koala.
A wallet. They're pretty cheap at Target.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. Okay, this one is a creative idea. If you're just like, man, I know I can't buy for my 15-year-old niece. I don't know what to get. Age-related advice. They may not appreciate it now, but it goes a long way. Getting messages gathered of best advice for when you were 16. This can be a better birthday gift, but if they're entering high school, if they're entering college, like first semester of college, have people in your life or their life that they would look up to. Give them a note of encouragement for this season that they're in. I think that stuff like that, I have items of little booklets of things that I've been given, and it's really fun to look back on. Now, attach a gift card to that because to Sephora, if it's a girl, to like, I don't know where boys shop, teenage boys.
Hot Topic.
Okay, gift card to Hot Topic or Academy. Academy, that's
Yeah,
a great
Academy.
one. And yeah. But that could be a different twist on things.
Yeah.
If you're really not confident in what to buy, stick a gift card on there.
Look, I was watching CNBC this past weekend, and they were running a report about how y'all's generation is saving shopping malls because your generation wants to go to the mall and get the designer bags and post it on social media, and they want
Weird.
the in-person experience so that way they can have a physical bag. It's really, they said that the bags were a key selling point. So that way you guys could post what it is that you were bringing home with you, where if you buy it in Amazon or something, you don't get necessarily the merch to do that. And I was like shocked. I'm like, this is the
Yes.
first I've heard of this. Because they were talking about how brands like Abercrombie and Fitch are coming back due to y'all's generation and the generation below you.
Yeah, I knew that. They
And
were coming back.
why how is this some of the trappings of my generation where we thought we had sort of distanced ourselves from our era of upbringing are now coming back as popular things, and I'm shocked by this.
Yeah, I definitely I mean, I've never considered the whole bag posting thing, but it makes sense. Anything for a
Oh,
post.
and y'all's generation is running up the most credit card debt in the history of any generation before
Shocker.
it. So I'm
That's
saying, is there a
true.
correlation? I think so.
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
they're
Yeah.
going to Louis Vuitton to get this bag, and they're walking out with the bag, flashing the bag, and they're getting mugged in the parking lot. Now you have no bag and you're in debt.
That is also correct.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Also,
Sad
all
American life.
these new companies that do the pay in 4 installments. Have you seen them?
Oh, yeah.
Afterpay,
Oh, they
dangerous.
have gone crazy. Companies like Afterpay and
Uh-huh.
Affirm, their stock prices just keep going up
Yeah, they're
because everybody's buying stuff they just can't afford. But
I
it's like
knew.
I can do it in multiple payments.
Listen to
correct.
this. I knew a girl. I'm not obviously gonna name her name. I can't remember who it was. Paid for a Lululemon belt bag. It is $27, maybe, in 4 installments of Afterpay. Girl, if we can't buy a Lululemon belt bag and you have to do it in 4 installments, you don't need the belt bag.
I'm with
That
you.
is insane.
I think patience is important, but
Oh,
you know what keeps feeding that sense of like I'm behind, I got to catch up and all this stuff? It's all
TikTok.
algorithm driven.
TikTok.
And your generation, I'm sorry to say it, is screwed.
Yeah.
All right,
What
let's
about
move.
Gen Alpha? They're absolutely
Oh yeah.
cooked.
Oh,
Who's
absolutely.
Gen Alpha?
That
That's
would
below
be
y'all.
that'd be anybody born like it's what 2012 and
Oh
after,
Lord, I would not want to be them.
like
Yeah.
just true iPad babies.
Yeah, like they did this whole report about like 6-year-old girls that go on Sephora runs to try to mimic what they're seeing on these social
Yes.
media apps and stuff. And
Mhm.
it's like cutting down supply for those who are actually sort of
Shopping.
the target demo for that stuff.
Well, what's interesting, and not to go down this rabbit trail, but you guys know, like, everyone had an awkward phase. Most like, all 3 of us did, I'm sure, at some point, like, where it's like, "Ooh, gosh," like, middle school, like, you just kinda look a little quirky, you
Oh,
know? You're
mine was like 3 weeks ago, and then I got a haircut.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
good
yeah.
man.
I feel like mine's still going.
All that to say, there it's interesting that because of what I'm speaking more to girls, young girls are exposed to with social media,
Mhm.
they're skipping the awkward phase because they're trying to look so much older at such a young age. So, like, the adolescence is kinda going away because
1000%.
you have all this consumption of influencers
Right.
that are not
You have a template that
Yes,
previously you did not have access to,
right.
minus the occasional people you'd see at grades above you
Exactly.
that also didn't have a template, so they were working based off of trends at the moment. And marketing is an interesting animal. All right.
Yeah. Alright.
So that's a big, broad topic that we will get into in a further day. Are you ready for number one?
I'm ready for number 1.
It's obviously
Ladies.
the ladies in your life, those significant others that are the ladies. What in the world do you do for them? You helped me a lot last year,
Yes.
EG, because I was struggling over which direction to go, and you led me to the jewelry counter, and
Mhm.
it worked out tremendously. I was able to have that sort of ease of mind of like, I'm getting something she actually wants. I'm incorporating her into the process. It was a huge home run and immediately let me know that you would be painting the walls of the studio one day.
Yes.
And it worked out great.
I know, oh,
So help those other guys out there that
yeah.
need that help.
Okay. So, this is my number 1 point when it comes to buying for your significant other, and this could go more into the wife category. Either way, number 1, do not buy replacements. If something practical broke, it is not the time to replace it at Christmas. If her vacuum cleaner broke, don't buy her a new one. Christmas gift, yay!
2 years ago, I bought my wife a vacuum cleaner.
Yo, don't do that.
2 years ago. I met EG basically a year ago. There's a difference here. I mean, EG helped me. She can help you.
Yeah.
It was a really nice vacuum cleaner,
Dyson?
though. It was a Dyson.
I see. That's a little more acceptable.
It was a really nice vacuum cleaner. But the problem is, I made the mistake of not even getting her the vacuum cleaner she actually wanted, so we had to do a return.
Oh,
And anyway,
yeah.
so that sucked.
well,
Vacuum joke.
that was funny. I think yeah, it was good. But I say all of this, and so there are cases where she may say and shake you, listen, I want the Dyson vacuum cleaner. By all means, get it. But don't assume like, oh, I saw that, her stovetop is broken. So I'm gonna pay for a new stovetop. Or I saw that I don't know, anything that's for practical use or that serves you, don't buy her a replacement for Christmas.
I would say stay away from anything cooking or cleaning with the way your list is going.
Yeah, but then again, but I say all this. If you're
Assuming it's not one of her hobbies.
exactly, because that could be the case. Like a KitchenAid mixer, I would love to receive that. But your wife may not, or girlfriend may not.
I hope Mikey's watching.
I know. B, do not, and this goes back to what you were saying, Lionel. Do not make her figure out the gift. Hey, I got you a spa day. No spa specified, no treatment, no date set. What? That's exactly what I wrote. That is not good.
Okay.
Don't make, similar to the parents, don't make them assemble. Don't make her plan her own gift. That's horrible. And that should be in life that anyone is watching this. If you're planning a date, don't make her plan it.
Okay. I think we're on a very sensitive subject here, and I just want to make sure that I am speaking for all male kind. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So guys are terrified of screwing it up.
Yeah.
Okay. And they don't want to screw it up. It's not a goal of theirs to
For
mess
sure.
it up, but they're terrified and they don't know how much to include her in the process to make sure that they don't screw it up. Do you feel like women more often than not appreciate being brought into the loop on some of these things so that way it's done right the first time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now, with that being said, take the liberty on smaller items that you know she already likes.
Right.
No one wants to know everything they're getting for Christmas. But if it's a major gift, it's the spotlight. Loop her in. If you're getting her jewelry, say, hey, December 18th, you don't have anything to do. I already checked the schedule. We're going out to shop for your Christmas gift.
Okay. This is going to make me an awful person.
Okay.
But let me ask, is it okay and acceptable in a relationship to go, you don't have to get me anything if I don't get you anything?
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfectly fine. That agreement is okay?
Between two people?
Or do you feel like there's still an expectation for there's going to be something there on Christmas Day, obviously,
I think it's very specific to the couple. Like if if your girlfriend's love language is gifting, you say, "Hey, let's not do gifts this year."
So you're a believer in the love languages thing. 'Cause
Yeah.
I read that book recently,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a fantastic, eye-opening sort of like you have to figure out who you're communicating
Yes.
with
Yes.
in order to unlock their treasure trove of closeness.
Yeah, and you can also avoid a lot of arguments that way too.
I agree.
So I think if you
Tyler's like, I
okay.
got to get my hands on this book.
It's a great
No,
book.
I like being single.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
There you
Yeah,
go.
I like not having to distress about the gifts.
Well, if
Never
you like being
mind.
single, don't read this book.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
maybe I'll check it out.
All right. But yes. So the gift giving, that's a personal agreement that the
Okay,
couple can
got it.
come to.
Got it. Okay, good. Good to know.
Okay, again, this was my point 3 on the men list, or excuse me, point 4. This is point 3 on the ladies. She will tell you what she wants, just listen. Keep a running list of sizes, preferences, etc. So, again, throughout the year, when you're driving on a road trip and she's scrolling on whatever, if she says something, write that down. Now, this is the thing that you do run into. Trend cycles are shorter than they've ever been before. So if you wrote that out in January, you might want to revisit it casually. Don't just assume that she still wants it, but just keep your ear open. If you ask, hey, what do you want for Christmas? That goes a lot farther than just assuming. And then you end up with a bunch of stuff. You're like, where did this come from?
I have problems picking out specific items, even if I know the general category of what my wife
Yeah.
wants, like the vacuum, for instance, right? Well, which one of these? There's 1,000. I'm really envious of the car commercials where it's like, give her the gift she's wanted. And it's like the car with the bow out front. And I'm like, who gifts a car to someone without them even test driving it or like
Mm,
knowing that that's the car they want, or I feel like that could lead to a domestic
agreed.
dispute on Christmas morning
Yes.
if you're throwing a car out there and this is going to be your car, and it's like, okay, well, I
Mhm.
didn't really want this, but anyway.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen those like Sweet 16 videos where
Oh
you
yeah,
know cars sitting out there, bow on it? That's the wrong color. What is this?
yeah. I got paid to DJ a private Sweet 16 birthday party.
Oh God.
This was back in my DJing days, and no one showed up. Yeah, the girl was homeschooled,
No.
and nobody showed up, and they gifted her a car, and it was just like 2 people there going,
That
"Yay."
is heartbreaking.
Oh, it
Was it
was
at least? Did she at least like the car?
they told me I could leave.
Oh.
That's how
Oh.
sad it was. Anyway, that's a whole nother discussion for a whole
Oh,
nother
that's
day, but
horrible.
it stuck with me, and I hope that,
Mm.
her life ended up going better than her sweet 16 birthday
That'd be
party
so
did.
cruel.
Okay, any other tips
Um,
for significant other
for ladies,
females?
yeah. Ask for a list. Do not assume anything. That ties in. Ask friends. Ask her friends. That's appropriate.
And you know what? If word gets back, it's not the worst thing in the world.
No, because then you can also she can be like, "Ooh, no, you gotta steer them the other way."
Oh, I
Like,
gotcha. A
yeah,
mediator,
a
a
mediator.
gift mediator.
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah. So that's all. I hope people learn something. I think everyone can
Yes.
learn something from that list.
Excellent job. A
Thank you.
5-star meltdown countdown, and we appreciate EG very much for providing that. We want to remind you about a 5-star experience that you can have at MyBookie at mybookie.ag. We use promo code next round for that deposit bonus. A great time there. Make sure you sign up and bet and play absolutely anything, anytime, anywhere there with MyBookie. You will have a great time this holiday season. I promise you that. Okay, there's a lot of great movies coming out over the coming weeks, but until then, we're pretty much dealing with the leftovers of Thanksgiving with
Mhm.
a couple of movies that Tyler would say you should avoid at all costs. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, the big story coming out of this weekend, Craven the Hunter. Tyler, I told you that I would hold you accountable for this.
Yeah.
I asked you, which one will be higher at the end of the weekend? Will it be the amount of millions of dollars that Craven made, or will it be its Rotten Tomato score?
I think I said Rotten Tomatoes score.
You did say Rotten Tomato score, and congratulations, you're a winner because it went up to
Ooh.
15%, I believe. And the millions of dollars that Craven made stood at $11 million. It came in third place opening weekend, one of the worst openings for a Marvel adjacent property. Its box office was somehow even less than Madam Web, which I think a movie like Madam Web hurts Craven. So it's not completely apples and apples comparison because people are still like, oh, Madam Web was so awful, I'll never do that again. And that hurts Craven.
I mean, if you were one of those people that thought Madam Web would be good before you saw it,
That's
then
fair.
yes.
This movie was shot nearly 3 years ago. It has gone through absolute production hell. It is now in cinemas for you to enjoy
Eh,
or to
y-
avoid.
Oh,
yes.
I like that.
It originally was set to come out January 2023. So
Mhm.
that's nearly 2 years ago because we're about to be in January 2025. Now,
Yep.
on paper, before you do the mental math, you're like, okay, that was what, a year ago? No, that was closer to 2 years ago. The film cost a reported $110 million to produce, once again, making $11 million domestically. The Venom trilogy is the only bright spot.
Mm-hmm.
It has made 1.8 billion worldwide, which has funded all of these other misfires. There may be some people out there, I don't know who they are. There may be some people that still want to see Craven the Hunter. They just haven't gotten a chance to see it. You better hurry, by the way, if you want to see it. You better hurry.
They're going to be pulling this one quick.
You better hurry. Why, from your non-spoiler take, Tyler, is Craven the Hunter such an abysmal experience as a moviegoer? Because you see everything. Why is Craven one of the worst pieces of slop this year?
Oh gosh, it just takes itself way too seriously for being such a poor quality story experience. They took an extra 2 years. I don't know what they spent the time on because it certainly wasn't refining the CGI, and it certainly wasn't adding new shots to make the story more interesting or clean up any dialogue, any issues like that. Actually, they did clean up some dialogue with some ADR, and it was the most poorly done ADR I've seen since Madam Web. The characters are clearly not saying what they're saying on film. And that is one side of production that's awful. And then on the writing side, you've got, let's turn one of the biggest villains in Spider-Man's rogues gallery into just a hero. This is not spoiling anything. Uh, he's going after poachers and arms dealers and drug dealers for the majority of the movie. Um, None of this is in to advance him becoming a crime boss. Any evil plot.
It's to fill the runtime.
It's to fill the
Uh.
runtime and to give him something to do. And you just start thinking, like, why on earth would this villain be just doing objectively good things? I saw 0 acts of villainy in this 2-hour villain origin story.
That'll do
So,
it.
yeah, it sounds awful. You went in already knowing it was probably not going to be great,
Yes.
but it's still under-delivered based on
Oh,
what you
yeah.
thought the bar was at.
I was ready to just turn my brain off and just watch a gory action flick.
Right.
The action sequences were boring. Boring.
Do they use the Johnny Cash song?
No, thankfully. They don't use it during the movie, but
Because they use When the Man Comes Around,
they used it in the trailer.
In the
for
trailer.
the entire trailer, and
They-
only like one line of it.
butcher the song in the trailer.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it is a perfect song almost. I mean, for me, it's like a perfect song. The way Zack Snyder uses it in Dawn of the Dead, 2004,
Wasn't it?
2004, fantastic.
Yeah.
Opening credit sequence, like just YouTube that. The way that they use The Man Comes Around in this trailer, I was actively angry.
Oh, nice.
Like
was
I'm wanting to
cringe.
destroy theater property. That's how angry I was. And I'd made up my mind. I'm not watching this movie. I'm not
It
supporting
was
this
such
garbage.
a bad use of that song. It felt disrespectful to the memory of Johnny
bad.
Cash.
Craven the Hunter absolutely craters at the box office as it makes $11 million in its opening weekend, and this one's going to sink like a lead balloon. Moana 2 continues to soar there in the number 1 spot. Our own Scott Forster went out to see Moana 2. He was asked, "What do you think about it?" He said, That's pretty much what we think about it. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a very passable Moana 1.5 experience, but it's not great. It's not bad. It's just, it exists. It's like, it's a kid magnet. It is going to make all the little kids happy. And I'm talking about if you have a 5-year-old that really likes bright colors and cute animation, oh my gosh. Yeah, this is a home run.
Okay.
But like if you have a brain that's like formed in any way, it's not the most engaging of experiences, right?
Because Moana, the first one was.
Yeah, and I think I was kind of like in an auditorium full of sick children, like the flu was going around, and they're like, they're sneezing,
Snot is all over the seat.
they're hacking all over
kid
my
cough.
sword of Rohirrim, and I'm like, I don't know. I just don't really, this isn't my cup of tea right now. If I wanted to be in a pediatrician's office, I would just go hang out there. And this is just, the movie's not good enough
To warrant the child cough.
to possibly be sick. Yeah. So that's Moana 2. Wicked continues to do really well there in the second spot, 22.5 million this weekend. It's made over 359 million domestically, over $500 million worldwide now. Wicked continues to soar. And Wicked Part 2 comes out in less than a year. I know Tyler's counting down the days.
Yeah.
You know, alarm set on your
Boy.
phone. Is it-
Here's real quick, I haven't said this, but Wicked Part 2, right, which is really Act 2 of the Broadway play.
Right.
I don't know if you guys are aware of Wicked, but Act 2 has no good songs. So all the good songs are in Act 1.
Oh, seriously?
Right.
Wait, so does that
Popular-
mean they're just
Popular?
are there less songs in Act 2?
No, they're
No, not less.
just not good.
Oh.
You know, like the difference between song quality in Moana and Moana 2, like how it's been sort of presented? It's the same thing for Wicked. Wicked Act 1, banger songs. Wicked Act 2, notably not good songs. So what I think is they had to have created songs maybe just for the movie version to make Wicked 2
Have that same effect.
have that same effect. Because Wicked 2 is going to be on pace to gross more money than Wicked 1 because Wicked 1 is going to be in everyone's circulation as a certified hit already. It's going to be distributed in some sort of streaming platform. People are going to be watching it, gearing up. And the sequel off of a hit movie is always going to make more money than the original if it's done with some level of closeness to the original.
Tyler, are you so thrilled that you have the continued marketing campaign for a whole other year?
Oh my gosh, it's been terrible. I don't think I'm looking forward to a movie less than Wicked Part 2 now. Um, you said there's as many songs as the first one,
Yes.
and you're not even selling me on the
They're
quality
just not good. Yeah.
of those songs.
Yeah.
That's gonna be rough. I already still have to deal with hearing Wicked blaring out of every single theater whenever I go to see something. Because I'm not sure if you saw this, Tim, but John Chu had a notice sent out to theaters to instruct them all to turn up their sound systems.
Oh, wow.
So when you're walking in the hallways now, you will hear 3 different Wicked songs playing at the same time.
Oh,
I have not heard that, but I did notice that it's very loud. The Wicked
Yes.
showings are very loud walking through the general areas there. So we've still got some big heavy hitters coming here in the remaining few weeks of December. Mufasa opens up this week, which is a movie I'm really looking forward to. It made my most anticipated of December list. You can check out that list that Tyler and I put together. I know, Tyler, one of your most anticipated movies of the year by far, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, coming out
Oh, yeah.
here very soon. There's also a lot of movies that are going to be in the awards conversation potentially. Baby Girl comes out, which is an A24 movie starring Nicole Kidman. I'm really excited about this one. Hope it's really good. I'm a big fan of the 2002 movie Unfaithful, and this feels like a modern telling of that story potentially based on some of the trailers I've seen, but I haven't seen the movie, obviously. Nosferatu is going to really deliver some chills this holiday season as it is going to be hitting on Christmas Day, and A Complete Unknown, which I know Spud is really excited about. This is the Bob Dylan movie.
Oh, yeah.
Timothy Chalamet, and right now it's at like a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's kind of
Really?
low. Yeah, a lot of people championing the performances, but not so much the movie.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that happens in these biopics sometimes. Sometimes the movies don't live up to the level of the performances or the music itself. So I'm really excited for all, really 4 out of 5 of these movies. I can't Sonic, I'm too far behind on, I feel like, to fully get behind. But I'm really excited about this Jim Carrey renaissance we've got going on right now, where
Oh, yeah.
everybody's talking about Jim Carrey every day, so that's not bad. But that's going to do it for us here on the Meltdown. Really excited with today's episode. We reacted to Superman and that poster that dropped. We're all awaiting the trailer on Thursday. We'll have a full review on that up on the channel on Thursday. We also had EG's holiday gift giving guide, which is not just telling you what sort of general area to go to, but also maybe who you're shopping for and some of the quirks that go into making sure those gifts feel very personalized. So good stuff there. And then there you have it with your box office report. The top 10 movies there, as rounding out the top 10 in the number 4 spot, Gladiator 2, followed by Red 1, Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, Interstellar, Pushpa the Rule, The Best Christmas Pageant Ever, and Queer is the top 10 that I have, although that
Wow.
was Sunday reportings.
Yes. So the estimated reportings I have has Red One at number 6, Lord of the Rings at number 5, uh, Pushpaw at number 7,
So literally
number 8,
completely different.
Interstellar, and number 9, Interstellar.
See, this is what happens when you work ahead. You don't have the actuals, and the
Yeah.
actuals come out on Monday. So I'm just going to have to start waiting for the actuals. That's the way it's going to have to work.
I
Yeah,
suppose.
I pulled this ranking this morning,
Yeah.
so
There we go.
just gotta do
All
the
right.
day of.
You know, they say the early bird gets the worm, but that's not true.
No.
No,
That's not true.
no.
Congratulations, Tyler. You win the day. 10,000 points for
You,
you.
you gotta let
Aw.
Daft Punk count all their money.
We're back.
Yes, exactly. All right, you can check out all of our reviews up here on the Meltdown channel. We appreciate your subscription. We'll see you again live tomorrow, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. Special guest Brian Pavlik in studio with us. We'll also have a Terrifier 3 spoiler review, which EG will not be a part of, here on the Meltdown.